Hi, welcome to Smartboard 101. I'm your host, Robert Rocha. I'm an instructional technology specialist with the Paso Independent School District. Recently, we've been talking about how to add interactivity into your Smart Notebook lessons. Today's focus is going to be on the Infinite Cloner. The Infinite Cloner allows you to make multiple copies of an image as needed in your lessons. For instance, you could use this to identify and label in your classroom or in your lesson, or you could use it to create some type of chart or histogram. So let's go back to my smartboard and show you how I'm using it in my particular classroom here. And I'll get to show you a little bit later how to create your own items or turn the items into the Infinite Cloner. So in my chart here, I've got Infinite Cloner, so I'm going to go ahead and click on that. And there we go. And it takes me to my chart that I have of the United States. And also here, I've got, you notice I have my images on the left-hand side, I'm sorry, the right-hand side. And I have a picture of a star for a capital, and I've got a picture of bread, a picture of a cow, and a picture of a fruit or an orange for industry. And so what you would do in the classroom is, let's say you have a student come up and label what the actual capital is of Texas. So they would say, oh, I know where the capital is, Mr. Rocha. It's going to be over here in Texas, down over here. So I would say the student come up to the board. They would take their finger, use constant pressure, take that capital and move it across that star, and move it to where the capital of Texas should be, and let it go, and now it's placed on the board of where that capital is. Now, let's say they want to do another one, say what's the capital of New Mexico, get another student come up to the board, they could click on the star, and remember it's constant pressure because they're dragging it across, and drag, click and drag towards New Mexico where that capital of New Mexico would be, and so forth. And again, you can repeat this process with the different other images that I have here. For instance, the one of the bread or the cow. For instance, let's say in Texas, we all know Texas is known for its cattle and steak. So I'm going to go ahead and move my cow, move that here. And I can also, in Texas, we're also known for our citrus in the lower southern part of Texas. Move that down here. So here I've got the citrus that I've been using right here. And so now you can see that I've made multiple copies of an image, and my static image is still going to be on the left-hand side. So let's go and build this particular lesson, or recreate this now on our Smart Notebook lesson here. Now, when I do this, I don't really want to create the object or create the slide on my smart board. The smart board is more of a presentation tool with the students. So you always want to go back to the computer. It makes it much easier, much simpler to do it on your computer itself. So let's go back over here. And on my toolbar that I have, I'm going to go and choose that first part here with the Add a Page. So I'm going to add a blank page in my Smart Notebook. And from here, I'm going to go ahead and go back to my toolbar, and I'm going to go across to where I have my dual page display, because I still want to see the object I was working from to create. And so the first thing I'm going to need is I'm going to need this picture of the United States. Now, I could go to my gallery on my left-hand side here, on my tabs, and type in United States and find my map. But for sake of my purposes of our TV show, I'm going to click on My Content, and there's my map that I have right there. So I'm going to go ahead and drag and drop my picture into my blank page, and I'm going to go ahead and go back here. And notice now, I'm going to make that page a little bit larger. So I have two different handles. I've got a green handle, which allows me to rotate the object, and also have a white hand on the bottom right-hand side. And that allows me to go ahead and make it larger. So I'm going to make it a little bit larger here. There we go. Now notice the object can still move. We definitely don't want that to happen with the students. So on my upper right-hand corner, I have a drop-down menu, and I'm going to go to Locking, and I'm going to lock that in place because we don't want the students coming up there and moving anything that's there. So my next thing is now to go and add my different objects, such as the star, the bread, the cow, and the actual citrus fruit, the actual orange. Now again, I could go up here to my gallery and pull those out from there, but what I want to go ahead and do is just take the ones that I already have on my slide. For instance, the one with the star, I'm just going to simply click and drag and place that onto my other page. So I'm going to go and repeat that process. I'm just going to drag the bread over. I'm going to drag the cow over, and I'm going to go ahead and drag the actual citrus fruit. Now, one thing you probably notice is saying, well, geez, those right now are just single images of that. They're single instances of that particular image. They're not cloned or set to clone yet. So how I would do that is notice here on my drop-down menu, I have something that's called the infinite cloner. And what I'm going to go ahead and do is once I click on that, it's going to turn the image from a single image into a multiple image. So I'm going to click on that. And so now if I was to go and click on that, I have multiple images of that particular orange. So to verify that it's set to infinite cloner, what I'm going to go ahead and do is I'm going to go ahead and drag or do a marquee select over that image. And didn't do it here because I'm on a Mac. I think that's what the problem is. But I clicked on it once. And when I clicked on it once, notice now my tab, I don't have a drop-down menu anymore, but I've got the infinity sign, which is like that figure 8 sign that's there. So that way I know now it's set to infinite cloner. So the process now is to go ahead and finish up the rest of the objects to be infinite cloner. So I'm going to do a really neat thing here. I'm going to kind of drag my cursor across all three. And notice it doesn't matter which drop-down menu I choose from since all of them are selected. I go to the drop-down menu here. I set that to infinite cloner. And now all these objects are set to infinite cloner. So my next object I need to do is to add my labels. So I need to add the label for capital and a label for industry. So I'm going to add my capital one first. So I take my cursor, place it under the star, and click on it there, let it know it's there, and type in the word capital. And if I wanted to, I can make it bold. I'm going to go and highlight that. Try that again. There I go, I'm going to highlight that. Make that bold. Maybe I'll make that about a size 36, sounds good. And I'm going to also do the same thing over here for the different objects, my industry. So I'm going to type in industry here. And again, I'm going to go ahead and bold that up a little bit. And I think I also set that to like about a 36. And there I go. And again, I'm going to lock these objects here because I don't want to keep that locked. Lock in place. And lock in place. And so now we pretty much created our slide. So a student can now come up. Let's go back to our single view. And I know it's kind of hard to see there. So now the student can go up here, take our star, and make multiple copies as needed to label all the different capitals of our United States. So I hope you find this useful as far as using this in your classroom. Again, there's multiple ways of using it. This is what's one instance of using it. But this pretty much wraps up how we use infinite cloner in our classroom. And I hope you enjoyed our show today, and I hope to see you again soon. Bye-bye.